I want to see your face. It's important because you will be more engaged. This is going to make a difference. This is for our top agents, our high-level agents. I want you guys to get the idea. And for everybody that's on the call, we're going to kind of focus this for our agents that are icon agents or becoming icon agents. We're going to talk a little high-level stuff. So if you got some questions, put them in the chat. I promise we'll get there. And remember, every other day of the week, it's about everything else. But we wanted to make sure we had this, and we're bringing on some very special guests just for the superstars as well as everybody else. But we're focusing on Deep, just because I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, my friend Deep. Thank you for joining us. God bless you, brother, and for everybody else. So here's the intro. 6 years ago, almost to the week, 6 years ago, I was down in Fort Lauderdale and I was looking at this wonky company. I'm like, yeah, what the heck? I figure I'll give this a try. But I had a mission. I was going to interview 60 people. And I really wanted to talk to the CEO, the COO, and the CFO of the company, because I was leaving a company that had amazing culture and I needed to know if I was making the right move. At this point, there were less than 5,000 agents with our company, with EXP. So this is the very first morning, and I love telling this story. It's one of my favorites. So I lead with this, and she knows exactly where I'm going. And my wife and I are walking in around 7:30, 7:45. We're walking into the restaurant. We're going to have a bite to eat. And I walk by these two young ladies who are sitting there, and it looks like they just got done with the run. And the truth of the matter is they actually did. They just finished a 5K. But what caught me is they were wearing their name tags, and I'm scratching my head thinking to myself, well, that's a little pretentious. A name tag on your workout. But then it occurred to me later that we're all avatars, or at that point, we really were all avatars. So we didn't know anything. So I go up to her, and it's this wonderful lady named Jill and this incredible friend of mine, Elizabeth Riley, who is on the call and our special guest. And I say, hey, I'm really considering joining EXP, and I would like to interview a bunch of people, but I really wanted to ask y'all a couple of questions. An hour later, after they joined us for breakfast, my first introduction to EXP was with EXP's what is your number, Elizabeth? Can I ask?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm agent 466.
466. The agent 466 with EXP. So I found the right person, and Jill, who was her compadre and partner in crime, was awesome. Anyway, that started my journey. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of bringing to you 8-time Icon Award winner, one of our very first agents, in my opinion, one of our cultural ambassadors, a dear friend of mine, Miss Elizabeth Riley. I am so grateful for you to be here early, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Good morning. It's good to see you.
Well, I'm excited for this because this has been in the works. So that was kind of the start of it. The second real conversation.
I'll tell you guys the real story. George always, George jumbles up the details a little bit. The real story was you guys were on the elevator, and Jill and I had just gotten off of that. It wasn't a 5K. We did a Olympic thing on the beach, and so we were covered in flour and covered in honey and all this crazy stuff because we all had teams that had to compete against each other. So it was crazy embarrassing, but we only had 2 seconds to get food, and that's how we met. I mean, I looked like a hot mess, and you asked us a couple questions, and then you stalked us at breakfast. So yeah.
Well, and the truth of the matter is you did join us for breakfast. You said, well, why don't we just have breakfast together?
I was like, pull up a chair, come on, the more the merrier.
Yeah, I was absolutely blown away. So a heck of a journey. I mean, we had less than 5,000 agents. We're now this very, very large company with 88, almost 90,000 agents. I touched on something that I attribute a lot of this to you, that I'm not a number. And I want to bring that up before we get into your icon success, the luxury market, family tree for sure. You really helped form this company, in my opinion. You've had a voice that's been perhaps an opportunity to a little louder than others, and you get to see something that a lot of people don't. What's your take on this remarkable movement, Elizabeth? I'm very curious.
Wow, that's really kind to say. It's kind of eye-opening for me to look back. It doesn't really seem real. I've been here 8.5 years, and it seems like I just got here. And when I joined the company, I joined because I believe people join people. And I think that's what we all kind of keep building on. And all of a sudden it's 89,000 strong. And it's really about the relationships. And I say this all the time in business. If I'm talking about, I'm very much still in production. And so whether I'm talking about business or I'm talking about attraction or I'm talking about the company in general and the culture we have internally, it's really about building the relationships. And if you build the relationships, the business is going to come no matter what you're doing. And so I love what Glenn created because we all win together. It's not fun at the top by yourself. It's so much more fun when you're lifting others as you climb and you're building something together. And when one wins, we all win. So it's remarkable to me. I had no idea what Glenn had in mind. I had no idea what his big vision was. I thought I did. And I have the gift of hindsight. So looking back, I really was off on that. But we have an incredible leader that has a passion for others, and it's fun to be a part of it.
Outstanding. Thank you. And I promise you folks, she does have a vision and a conversation. Her access is pretty much unfettered across the board, which is pretty cool as one of the founding partners of the company. So let's talk about your real estate business. I'm going to ask you to kind of throw out, and I know this isn't your normal, where you're normally comfortable with it, but put modesty aside. Icon 8 years in a row. What's going on in the business world as far as real estate is concerned for you? How is your business look? What's your team? What's everything? Because we're all interested in growing our real estate business.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're a real estate company, right?
Right.
So I've been in the business 18 and a half years, started in Georgia first. And just because my husband and I were investors and my CPA told me I had to get my license. So I had no real interest in real estate until I realized, oh my gosh, I love this. I get to serve others. I get to work with people I want to work with. And so I built my real estate business up in Georgia first. And then in 2008, if any of y'all were in the business then, not the best time to be in the business, but my husband and I were transferred to Texas. And so I started over. And it's funny because I equate this a lot to EXP too. People that I met, because I didn't know anybody here, they were like, you're crazy. You're getting in the real estate business now. The market's horrible. And to me, it's all about perspective, and it's also about opportunity, because I had to stop back and look. I'm like, well, I just came from a bad market. Atlanta burst, right? I was working on foreclosures and short sales, and that was a bad market for me. Austin was opportunity. It was a better market and people were still buying and selling. And so I didn't really listen to the noise, and I just started meeting people, and I built my business here. And so in 2014, I had 650 agents in our market center, and I was number one. And I came home that day and I told my husband I was getting out of the business. And he's like, what are you talking about? You just made number one. And I said, well, we talk about God family business. I have 4 children. My husband traveled internationally all the time, and I was on a hamster wheel. And I was like, this is not sustainable. This is not enjoyable. I'm missing it. And he was like, go to another company. I was like, nope, they're all the same. He said, start your own brokerage. No way. I don't want to start my own brokerage. And my Atlanta relationships, they had all gone to this little tiny company called EXP. And they said, will you talk to somebody? I said, sure, I'll talk to somebody. And Glenn Sanford came in to meet with me. And at that time, he had 400 agents. But what was interesting is Glenn talked to me about rev share. I didn't understand rev share. I didn't care about rev share. I wanted to get back to the basics. I wanted to get my passion back. And so I came to the company to get back to real estate and build my business there. And so just doing the things I was doing, the next year, we had 2,000 agents. I was number one. George, I think when I met you, we had 5,000 agents. I was number one that year too. And I had to step back saying, wait, I'm the same person. I'm still doing what I'm doing, but my surroundings have changed. And now I'm learning from other people in Florida or Georgia or California. And I started working more in the luxury space. And I took the opportunity to build my own brand. And I wanted to be more in luxury, but I wasn't doing a lot of luxury then. So I created Lux Property Group. I don't have a formal team. A lot of people think I have a formal team. I have what's called a self-organized team here at EXP, because I don't want to be boss. I want to collaborate. I want us all to win together. I don't want to be telling, George, okay, well, how many calls did you make? Or Fred, how many meetings did you go on? Like, that's just not my personality. If you know the DISC profile, I'm a very high S. Okay, so I don't want to be telling you what to do. I just want us all to be doing things together and bringing value to the table. And so I have Lux Property Group. There's 5 of us, 3 of us licensed, and it's morphed over time. My business is 100% referral, and so all of my business is my own business. I have independent caps with the company. My agents on the team are in my downline. They don't pay me a split. If you're doing a self-organized team, I would say charge a split, even if it's for marketing or something like that, even 10%. But I didn't know what I didn't know. And so we all have our own business. And now that I'm going around the country and I'm speaking, I'm doing other things. I just do splits with them and when I hand them my business. But my individual business last year, for 2022, 2021, I was 34 million. 2022, I was 37 million. I think I'm around 20 million right now. I'm negotiating quite a few deals. I might be a little bit lower, but I'm not following my numbers that well because it doesn't matter to me. If I'm taking care of my clients, that's what matters to me, and the business will come. So that's how I built my real estate business. I market very well to my database. I'm very consistent. I stay in front of them once a month, 3 times a month, but direct mail once a month, texting or coffee or something like that, and then a newsletter. But I'm just very consistent in what I do and staying in touch with the relationship, because I want them to think of me as their friend in the real estate business, not their real estate agent.
So we have a conversation on a regular basis, and you brought up there's just a whole lot to unpack right there. But I'm a big champion of this, that it's about the relationship. And you said 3 times a month, which I preach to everybody. And I have to start with this in mind. So when you first got into real estate in 2008, you were immediately doing 36, 37, 40 million a year, right? I mean, it just happened, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So just,
No.
I mean, it's
I don't even
like,
know when I first got in the business in 2005. I mean, I don't even remember what my business was. See, my situation's a little bit different. I have a husband who had a full-time corporate job and benefits. So the reason I worked was because I realized I was not a very good stay-at-home mom. And I'm a better mom because I work. So I didn't really follow my numbers, probably like most people would that have to be in the business. I was very fortunate in that regard. I didn't follow my business while I was at Keller Williams at all, quite frankly, because I wasn't treating my business like a business. I was treating my business as, I don't even want to say a hobby, but it was just something I was doing. So I never knew my numbers. I didn't start following my numbers until I came to EXP. And the only reason I started following my numbers was because of icon status. I came to the company because of icon. I was the first icon ever named at the company. And I thought it was really fascinating because I was like, wait a minute, I don't know a whole lot about stock, but you're going to give me stock. My old company, I was a top producer for 10 years and I got 10 baseball caps that said Capper. That's not going to pay my mortgage. That's not going to pay my college funds for my kids, right? And so the stock when I joined was really, really low. I was like, well, I don't know. Again, it's that opportunity. I read from Stefan Swanepoel. He wrote in his trends report, the different marketing, the different companies, real estate companies, KW, the different models, right? And he wrote in there, the one you haven't heard about, but the one to watch is eXp Realty. They're the Amazon.com of real estate. And that's when I kind of had to sit back and go, well, what if? Right? It's opportunity again. What if we had all known about Amazon, that it was going to do well? Remember when they were going to try and sell books online? And we're like, how's that going to work? Right? Silly us. Somebody had a huge vision that knew what was possible. If we all knew what Amazon was going to do, we would have all been very involved in some way or the other with Amazon. And so I sat there and was like, well, what if? What if that worked? That could be really cool. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm bored and I'm uninspired. So I would rather be doing something that could be exciting than just sitting here complacent. A good friend of mine and producer, and who's in my front line, he told me, he goes, you did really well. You took a big risk. And I said, why do you say that? He goes, well, you jumped from a company where everybody knew you and you were doing well to a no-name company. That was a big risk. I go, that wasn't a risk. I said, the risk was staying where I was. I wasn't growing. I was complacent. I was bored. Right? I said, that was the risk. And I said, by taking a change, I said, I could have gone back to any other company that failed. So to me, there wasn't a risk. So I just look around, and the icon program was a big deal for me. It was a big draw for me in the stock and doing something a little bit different. And so that's when I started following my numbers to get to icon, because I saw that could be time freedom and financial freedom. And that means I was serving a lot of my clients. So I don't know the first 10 years of my business what I did. I don't know really the last few years, probably the last 5 years is when I started hitting 15 and 20 million and above.
So I'm surprised. So obviously our price points have gone up a lot, and I know you to be, I know that there's a lot on your plate. with family and everything else that's going on in your world, yet you still manage to carve out the time to do things that have caused success. And at this point, because, well, for some of you that haven't figured it out, we know each other fairly well. There's a repetitiveness to your business, not a boringness, but a repetitiveness where it doesn't take new shiny objects. You've just really committed to your database and being the best support and partner for them, in my version, possible. Is there some advice you can provide to some of the people that are on this call who are really just kind of ramping up? They've been in business for a couple of years, but they're probably not at the icon level yet, but they want to get there. What would be the pitfall and the positive that you would offer advice on that?
Say all the time, if you've heard me before, I always say comparison kills joy. Right. And I say that as a reminder to all of you, but I say it really as a reminder to myself, because we can get caught up in that. Like, am I doing enough? Am I enough? And first of all, you are enough. I don't know. I mean, and this is going to sound silly. I don't know if 37 million in production is good. I mean, I know it's good in some situations. I know I'm probably above a lot of people, but I sure know I'm a tiny fish in EXP, and I'm surrounded by great people. I mean, KW, I was the number one agent. I was the big fish. You don't want to be the big fish ever. So I don't know what my business is, but here's what I can tell you. If I look up, I was actually just in Florida. I just got back last night. And I was down there speaking in Tampa at an event, but a good friend of mine is GoGo, and we've got to be good friends because of this. And so Monday night, she and I we went to dinner just as friends. And if you get to know her on a personal level, she's just amazing. She and her husband. And if I compare myself to what she's doing, y'all, she's a beast. I mean, she's amazing at what she does, but she is completely opposite of me. If I start comparing myself with what she's doing, the only one I'm going to affect is me in a negative manner, because I'm going to stop what I'm supposed to be doing and what's authentic to me. So I realized a long time ago, if I start looking at what George is doing, or if I start looking at Mark or GoGo or Renee, any of these people, and then I see it as competition, I'm only hurting myself. When you start looking at things and look at other people's businesses and what they're doing as collaboration, and what can I learn from this, right? I wanted to get in luxury. I went to a class with Doug and Chuck in Beverly Hills, Hollywood Hills, early on. I think I just joined the company, and they were telling me all sorts of stuff. Well, first of all, that market's very different than Austin, Texas. But I can learn from them. I'm like, oh, that's not going to work, or that's not going to work with my personality. But I can take nuggets, and there's value in knowing what doesn't work for you as well. So I think people, first of all, you got to stop comparing yourself to others, and don't look at it like competition. It's like, oh my gosh, I get all this resource and all these amazing minds coming together. The other thing is, I tell people, don't spend money till you're making money. A lot of new agents are chasing the shiny object, like George said. I mean, we do that too. It's like, oh my gosh, here's this new CRM, and this is it. Well, what CRM are you using now? Well, I'm not. Well, then why do you have to go try all these and have 5 different CRMs for 5 different things? Like, the best CRM to use is the one you're using. I used an Excel spreadsheet for years, right? Everybody kept saying, you need a CRM. Why do I need a CRM? This works for me. And then if you need a CRM, well, EXP gives you one for free. So don't spend money till you're making it. And a lot of people will spend a lot of money on marketing. And I'm like, look, you got to make an impression on the way to the trash can. They're going to throw your stuff away. So let's think of different ways to do things that aren't going to cost a lot of money, so you can put the dollars where the dollars make sense. So I would just say those are a couple of things, and then get in the right rooms. Surround yourself with the people that you want to learn from. If you're a new agent, go reach out to the top agents in your market. Can I shadow you? Can I take you to coffee and learn from you? Don't say pick your brain. I hate that. I hate it when people are like, can I pick your brain? I'm like, no, but let's collaborate. I can learn a lot from a new agent. Y'all, I've got like these new agents coming in here are brilliant in so many ways. So I think it's just get in the right rooms. If you're not in the right room, create a room. We had a lot of people in Austin that were, we had a lot of people in Austin that were floundering because they're like, virtual, we miss that connection. So we created AHA clubs. Agents helping agents. We do them once a month in person, and now they're popping up all over the country. We just created a room. It's really easy to do.
A reputable company. I was told by other.
Hold on 1 second. We'll get that. Thank you very much, Tiffany.
So
sorry, Elizabeth.
It's just don't overthink it. Don't get ready to get ready, and just do it. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity, and that's the beautiful thing about EXP. It's not one size fits all.
You said something that I thought was interesting, and that's we said a lot of things that were interesting. I love comparison kills joy, but the thing that I wanted to hone in on, because we're going to get to family tree in just a couple seconds, is put yourself in the room or surround yourself or seek out somebody who's doing what you're doing. Because as you said, you went to Beverly Hills, and a lot of that didn't fit.
Right.
But 3 of those nuggets did, and it changed the trajectory of your business. And for most of us, I'm looking at some of the people on the call. Some of y'all are just massively great at what you do. What's that tweak that adds an extra 10%? And 10% added every 6 months or every year is a mind-blowing success trajectory. And here's some foreshadowing from George. We're going to talk about attraction towards the end. So I'll give you guys what we're going to cover. We're going to go over a family tree. We're going to talk about the difference between real estate and attraction and how that works. And that's kind of how we'll finish this up over the next 30 minutes or so. Everything is predicated on your business success. So please be a little bit selfish. You have your permission. You have our permission. You can do it. It's got to work for you. And you need to put yourself in a position to find what is going to help you get to that next level, to go where you want to go. And as Elizabeth said, don't pick a brain, but ask to shadow. Ask them, can I be your assistant for the day for free? I'll even bring you lunch. Okay, sure. What does that look like? I just want to be around somebody who's doing something amazing. And you'd be amazed how you're doing it. Here's a little secret. This company has more amazing agents that want to share than any other company I've ever seen, because I was with the other company. So was Elizabeth, that shared everything. So we thought they're great, but nowhere near this level. Right. Get yourself in front. Is that fair, Liz?
Very much. Yeah, very much so.
All right. So let's jump to family tree. I'm going to steal the screen for just a second, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, because this is something that is just awesome as far as I'm concerned. I want you guys to be able to see this so you know what we're talking about. If you go inside of Workplace and you go to a group, you're going to find a group that's called EXP Family Tree. And boy, I got a lot of stuff in front of my screen. So let me move it out real quick. You can ask to join this group, and there is great stuff in here. Elizabeth, it's my understanding, I hope I get this right, that we've got you and Thomasini and Renee, of course, and Mitch, Ryback. It's funny because most of us are from Florida. You should come down. But you built this.
No, I can't. I was in Tampa for 2 days and there were roosters crowing outside my window. I was like, what in the world? Yeah. Like, this is insane. And I'm like all congested now. It's crazy hot, humid in Florida. I can't do it.
Yeah, we're going to change that. While you guys are freezing in Austin, we're going to be in 70-degree weather, but we'll compare notes at that point. How did Family Tree come about? Tell us about Family. By the way, it's available to everybody, right? I mean, anybody can join.
Yeah.
And what's the mission statement for this? Because I love this.
So I just talked about get in the right rooms and collaborate with great people, right? That are going to help you build. It all started really with our organizations, and it's Rich Tomasini, Mitch Ryback, Hank Avink, and myself. And the 4 of us would just start masterminding and talking about, because we were trying to figure out how to lead our organizations in the best way and add value. Okay. Because what we saw happening was, when I met with Glenn talked about, he wanted a company where everybody's collaborating. Your lines didn't matter. Everybody's helping each other grow and build. And what we started seeing as we got bigger was it was all being focused downward. We had a lot of groups that were focusing downward, and they would say, well, if you're not in my organization, I'm not going to help you. And we're like, what the heck? That's not our mission. That's not the company. That frustrated the living daylights out of me. But the 4 of us would start talking. We're like, well, what are you doing? Because we're not in each other's line at all. We all have completely different uplines, downlines, sidelines, whatever. But I respect all 3 of them in such a way that all 4 of us would collaborate each week on a weekly basis, talking about, okay, well, what are you doing for your group? What are you doing for your group? Oh, that's a great idea. And we were collaborating, exactly what I just said, right? We created the opportunity where, like, we weren't getting it from the people we're surrounded by. So we created that room. Well, then we realized, well, why are we creating 4 different islands? Why wouldn't we bring all of our islands together and create one big island where your upline doesn't matter? Because all 4 of us were really sick of hearing that who you choose matters. And that was completely against the company's culture. What we recognized, though, is the company was changing, and a lot of the people that understood that culture, it wasn't cascading out. And so we created Family Tree, where your upline doesn't matter. We don't care. The other reason was we had a lot of orphans, or we had some people that their sponsor wasn't engaged with them or really helping. They were just bringing them on and they were feeling lost. And so we thought, well, for retention, we don't want anybody to feel lost because, again, this is our company. If one wins, we all win. I don't care whose group you're in. So that's where Family Tree came from. And it really was just about, okay, well, we're going to do some trainings. EXP has great trainings, but we're going to do some really focused trainings every single day in addition to that. We're going to add value in addition to that. We're going to add resources and access in addition to everything else, right? So it wasn't to compete with the company. It was to add more value, because the more value you add, then more people are going to be wanting to come to the company as well. So that's what we started doing. And it was just word of mouth. If you didn't have a sponsor engage, come to our Family Tree. If you were an orphan agent, come to our Family Tree. If you're getting great value from your group, but you want to get different value, come to our family. We didn't care. And now organically, we have, I think 9,300 people have joined that group. And so in the pinned post at the top, you'll see there's training every single day. And we're having training on attraction, revenue share, production. I'm super focused on production. Hank was focused on more mindset. Rich was focused on the rev share piece. And then Mitch was focused on production as well. And over time, what we've done is we're lifting our leaders within the organization. And so we've stepped back. It's not about us. We've stepped back. So you're going to see other leaders in there now teaching and training and coming in and kind of coming into their own. And we're encouraging them to do that. And it's been really fun. 9,300 people. And most people know about us and they want to add value and they want to plug in. So that's where Family Tree came from.
So it's funny because this is, it's about a year old, I believe, at this point, and pretty close to it. Is that accurate? Did I get the number right?
Probably 2 years, probably
2 years. Okay, cool. Because we're doing something in Central Florida. I'm from Central Florida, the Orlando area. And we're like, you know what, this is crazy. We're all so diversified. We've got them and them and them and them and them. We said, that's ridiculous. We're really us. We're all one big company.
Right.
And this goes back to the production side again. I'm going to go back to what we just spoke of. Every single person who is successful that you admire, I'm talking to everybody here, every one of you, all of you. Everybody that you admire, because of the culture of this company, which is still evolving, quite honestly, wants to share if you actually want to learn and apply. We literally want to give back to those that are coming up, because the truth is you're the new leaders. And I see that in Family Tree. I see a cultural shift with our company, that we're going back to, or we're going to what was the original plan, where it's not, what group, what thing, but it's all of us with EXP, and together, we can move a mountain, and we're going to. This is the future of real estate, for sure. Best platform, no question.
Yeah.
But we also have the best leaders. For all of you that didn't get that, Hank, by the way, is one of the best KW coaches, bold coaches, or excuse me, regular coach there ever was. Tomasini is well off the hook. Obviously, Elizabeth's pretty good. And Mitch Ryback is actually plays in real estate, but is really a musician and a baseball player. When you get to know him, as you will, because you see him a lot. He was actually on a call a couple of weeks ago with us. But
here's the cool thing about this company too, and what's allowed. The four of us don't have to do anything anymore if we don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, this company has created time freedom and financial freedom, and success looks different for every single one of us. Okay. So just understand, it's not a monetary thing, but it's a time freedom and financial freedom. And that, so why does everybody keep still plugging in and showing up? Because we're passionate about helping other people. And when you're doing something you're passionate about, and it's not really a job, like, it's so much more fun. I mean, Goga and I were talking about this. She's like, why are you still in production? I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I don't know what I would do otherwise. Like, this is my world. So when you have people that are doing things out of the joy of their heart and not because they have to, it's just a completely different, it's a different outcome for everybody.
Right on. All right. I posed it this way in my notes: real estate versus attraction. In my opinion, this is just me, and I know that you mirror this, or at least I'd like your opinion on this one. If you focus your energy on real estate and being the best real estate agent you can, if you provide great service to your clients as well as to the other side of the transaction, where you are literally coming from contribution, attraction isn't a challenge. Attraction is a byproduct of extraordinary commitment to other people. Hope I didn't steal your thunder. What do you think?
No, 100%. I'm still in production. That's my attraction. I'm very much an introvert. I don't call people. I don't put myself out there. I have 73 people on my front line. I never called any of those people. They all came to me.
To be fair, you're calling them now because you and I talked about that about a year ago. You're engaged with them a little bit more, I think. Is that right?
No, I'm calling my agents. I'm calling
Okay.
my agents, but I'm not calling them to recruit people. I'm not calling
Got it.
an agent from another company saying, hey, do you want to go have coffee? Let's talk about EXP. Right? Nobody wants to hear about EXP. I think if you show them what we're about instead of tell them, it's a lot more powerful. And people are watching me. I'm not very big on social media, but I'm having to be out there a little bit more. And people are watching you. Even if you don't know they're watching you, they're watching you. And people were watching my success and they were watching what I was doing. And again, I don't even know what it would be for each person, but they reach out to me. So no, I'm very, very much engaged in my org. I mean, my front line, my second line for sure. Because again, it's just like if you treat your clients like you're one and only, they're going to refer you to everybody. I do that with my agents too. My agents, my front line, my second line, I'm loving on them so they can cascade and love on their people too. And I'm very engaged in my org and trying to figure out how to, add more value because my org is pretty large. But my front line, I've never called any of those people. It was all because of my production that was an attraction piece for them.
Well, okay. Well, there's actually one caveat. We might as well just like bring the cat out of the bag. There is one person you called for advice and direction that may have had a. Yeah. Okay. I mean, to be fair. So for all of you that don't know this, Elizabeth, when she was looking at this, needed advice from counsel that she thought was valuable. And some of you may recognize the name Gene Frederick, who was one of our board of directors. Elizabeth is Gene's sponsor. So the Godfather, sorry about that, Fred, the real Godfather, Fred, Big Daddy. He's actually was brought to EXP because Elizabeth said, I want you to tell me if this is, am I making a crazy decision or not? It's a fun story. So can we give that a moment or two? Because I think people will enjoy hearing that.
Sure. So Gina was my team leader in Austin. And I was on the ALC that voted him in. I was one of the ones that voted him in with Tony Brody at the time. And we just all had a lot of fun building and growing when they came on board. I mean, Gene has a lot of energy and we built and we were all really, really close. And then Gene, if you know Gene, he had 7 market centers he owned and then on the West Coast. And then he had part ownership in a Virginia office as well. And so he retired. And once he retired, we had a different team leader. And then it wasn't till after that I met with Glenn. I had only been at Keller Williams for 10 years. And Keller Williams was a great stepping stone for me. I'm grateful for my time there. But I didn't know what I didn't know. And so when I'm looking at this model and I'm talking to this guy, Glenn, who's brilliant, and I'm like, I don't know what questions to ask. I truly believe in seeking wise counsel. And I knew that if I asked anybody or talked to anybody, they'd send my license back or, it could cause problems. And I was like, Gene is safe. So I called Gene. I was like, I need to talk to you. I need you to tell me I'm crazy. And he goes, sure. So we would meet in the back of a Starbucks, in the back of like a Barnes and Noble, because nobody ever goes back there and nobody ever sees anybody. So we didn't want to get busted having a conversation, but I was like, look, this is what I know. And so long story short, he would always tell me questions to ask. And then Jason Guessing came into town to have dinner with me and I had dinner with him and he goes, okay, ask these questions. And then I said, the next morning, I said, can you meet with him? Can you guys just meet and you go ask these questions for me because I'm going to screw this up. He's like, sure. So he met with Jason that morning, I thought, and I didn't hear from either one of them all day. And finally around 5 o'clock, I go, did y'all not meet? He goes, oh yeah, we're playing basketball. We've been at my house all day. I'll call you tomorrow. I'm like, what are you talking about? So they hit it off and he goes, you know what? I've looked at this. We've been looking at this for 5 months. Let's do this. And I said, what do you mean, let's do this? He goes, I'm bored. I'm uninspired. I'm going to come out of retirement and do this. But first, you have to convince Susan, my wife, who always smiles, by the way, that we're going to sell all of our market centers. And so when my husband and I went to dinner with them, Susan was not smiling at that point. But what was very cool was the fact that she and my husband both said, look, we trust you both. If this is what you guys want to do, we support you 100%. And it's really because we had the support of our spouses that we did this. And that was May of 2015. And I think we probably thought we'd get to maybe 1,000 agents or something like that. Gene understood. He was really focused on the growth. Again, I was really focused on icon and production. We were we were working together, but in different paths, right? And so we were stacking people, we were helping each other build, and it was all built on relationships. Nobody knew who we were. Everybody said we were crazy, especially KW. Somebody at Gene's level to leave KW, they were slamming us left and right. And we're like, well, whatever, we're not gonna, it's noise. And so Gene, yeah, I did call Gene not to recruit him, but for that reason. And Gene is a huge portion of my org, but I'm pretty proud of a lot of the other leaders I've brought on too, because I mean, he's one of my 73. If any of you've seen Terrence Murphy and Build or EXP Connor shareholders, Terrence Murphy had an independent brokerage of 30 agents in College Station, Texas. College Station, Texas is a college town. Average price point was like about 200,000 or 300,000. He did 1.2 billion in 8 years. It took me 4 years, but again, I had the relationship, and Terrence brought his whole team over. And they've expanded into a number of countries, and he's in Dubai and things like that. So he's one of my big growth leaders. I've got another growth leader who came on and within like 3-4 months had already 59 people in his line. Like, so I have a bunch of different growth leaders that are starting to all build and meld together really, really well. So it's been a lot of fun.
So once again, this happened overnight. I mean, it's just like, boom, all of a sudden, poof, it just blew up. You were, a housewife and investing in properties. The next thing you know, you're an 8-time icon agent. You've got, thousands of people that are part of your tree, your downline. For the way, and I'm just gonna throw this one out there because I want y'all to get this. Actually, I'm gonna turn it back to you, and then I'll carry on with that. The overnight part is a complete fallacy. What I want everybody to hear really clearly is it takes time on task over time. That this isn't a one and done. This is an effort that you have to make in your real estate business, where you're consistently trying to improve your business and make it better, and obviously serve your people at the highest level. That's where the relationships come from, and the relationships feed into the revenue share, and the revenue share. And revenue share is something we'll cover in just a couple seconds because it's important for everybody. But would you tell us about your husband? Because this is one of my all-time favorite things to hear. I'm trying to do this for my wife right now, but it's not going to happen.
You will.
Oh, all right. So before you, she doesn't brag on this stuff, everybody, but I know, and you're going to find out, and it's freaking awesome. So go ahead.
So when I met with Glenn first, he was telling me all about revenue share. And I told Glenn Sanford, I'm not interested in revenue share because I didn't understand. I mean, I understood what KW was, and I had created a job with the people I had. And I was like, that's exhausting. I want to get back to the business, blah, blah, blah. I have since changed my tune on revenue share because I've recognized what a gift it is. Well, over the years, I've recognized what a gift. And so Glenn laughs quite a bit on that. But my husband was with Dell Computer for 25 years, and he was a regional sales director, international. And so he was gone all the time, Dubai, South Africa, whatever. I had 4 kids. And so my kids really didn't know him. He was missing it, right? And so COVID hits, and he's losing his light, and he's still stuck in a room, even though it's international. And I went in there and I read this book, Die with Zero. Hank Avink actually challenged Hank and I, all of us to read this book. And if we didn't read it by Monday, we were dead to him. This is what Hank said. We're like, okay, so we're reading this book. So Die with Zero is amazing. If you haven't read it, it completely changed my world. And I walked into the office. I said, why are we doing this? He goes, what do you mean? I said, you're miserable. You don't have a relationship with the kids. You're missing it. And he goes, well, I don't have a choice. I said, what if I retired you? And he said, what are you talking about? I was like, we don't need your income. He goes, well, I have all the benefits. I said, well, EXP has benefits. What would it look like if we compare the two? So we met with Clearwater. We compared the two. Our insurance with Clearwater was better for all family of 6, better insurance, cheaper than what Dell was providing. And so because of EXP, I was able to retire my husband 2 years ago. And I told him, because we're very private, but I said, you got to let me share that story because I want to empower and encourage other people to be able to do the same thing, because it's changed our world. Now he has a relationship with our kids. Now he's helping me more. Like, that's why I'm on here with you guys this morning. I got him out of the house, but my husband's my husband helps me when I travel. Like, it's a better scenario for our family, and our family was fractured. So the reason I did it was not because of income. It was because I wanted my core unit, my family back. That was my why. And so that's been amazing. What it's also done is I grew up really with nothing. I'm the oldest of 6, but my parents had a lot of love to give. And we had 140 foster children in 20 years. So as you can imagine, we didn't have a lot. I mean, there are times now as an adult, I didn't know, but my parents almost went bankrupt. They almost lost everything, but we never knew that. right? They made sure we were all good. And so last year and a half ago, as a surprise, I lost my niece. She was 5 years old to cancer. And my parents have this passion project that they want to build this home. Anyway, I won't go into that. But anyway, she was telling us all of this, and she was looking for $1,000 donation per, donor. And so we got on Zoom and they pitched it. I was like, okay, great. That list, great, Mom. I love this, that you're doing this for Kinsey. And I was like, great. I said, Dad, I need you to pull up your Wells Fargo mortgage account. And so he goes, okay. And this is my stepfather. Now, keep in mind, my stepdad was more my dad than my dad ever was. My dad, I mean, it was a rough childhood. My dad drank himself to death. Like everybody has their stories, but it's what inspires us, empowers us, and helps us be better, right? And so they pulled up their mortgage account, and I had paid off their mortgage. And it was because I said, first of all, now they're almost in their late 70s. I'm like, now you can work because you want to, not because you have to. And now that gives you freedom. And now you can go work on this passion project. And they're actually flying in today. I haven't seen them in a while. They're flying in today to go see my kids play sports this weekend. But there's so many things you can do, because once you realize it's not about income, sorry, my dog, but once you realize it's no longer about the income, it's about the impact. What you can do with that is powerful. So I'm in impact mode at this point. And it's because of EXP, and it's because it did take time. George is right. I've been here 8.5 years. I only have, y'all, 73 on my front line. When we were first building this, it was hard. We were putting tracks in front of the train as fast as it could go, and none of us had any idea what we were doing. And so I'm telling people now, look, we have an opportunity now. This is easier. My dog sees a squirrel. Oh, I'm sorry. So we're proven now. The opportunity is huge for you guys because people know who we are. We have luxury. We have momentum. We're publicly traded. We have all these resources. We have commercial. We have all these things, so that when you find the pebble in the shoe of what somebody's looking for, we can fill that gap. And because of that 73 people, it cascaded over. I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you how many people. I don't know how many people I have. I don't follow it, but my 73 people. I've got 11,090 in my total organization. So those 73 people have cascaded out to over 11,000 people. I'm the number 6 growth leader in the company. I'm going to take over Cliff Freeman. I already told him I'm on his tail, but I'll be 5. But you know what I mean? It's not even about the numbers. It's about, okay, great. How many more people can we impact, and what can we do for them to make this place, this company, our community better? So that's why I do it.
Standing. All right. So I want to shift a little bit, because we covered that. By the way, we're going to do questions in 3 minutes. So I've got 3 minutes on this.
You're good.
What's happened with EXP's luxury division? Because a couple of years ago, there wasn't one. I mean, and you're right in the middle of that. Can you give us a quick overview? And I'll bring a lot back, because I'm going to Las Vegas, and I'm going to be focused on it. So I'm going to do an entire class on the luxury division, but I'd love a 10,000 foot overview from you, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so I'm excited about the luxury division, because when I first came on board, I actually was trying to help with Trish, Doug, and Miguel. We were trying to put together a luxury division, and we kept failing forward many times, and for 7 years. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know. And so to see it finally come to fruition is pretty amazing. I'm one of the ambassadors. There's 11 around the country. I mean, the globe.
Right.
And guys, it's pretty amazing. I'm going up against Compass agents on listings, and I'm beating them out for the first time. Not to say the first time. I would always beat Compass agents out because of relationships or whatever, but it was always those people that were stuck on the branding or the luxury or the noise. Compass is a lot of noise, by the way. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I've got 3 teams from Compass coming over because they're telling me the exact same thing, right? So, but what happens is we actually have substance in our luxury division. And when our clients get to see, oh my gosh, I'm in Wall Street Journal, and I'm in the Robb Report, and the beautiful marketing materials, and it's all come together, and it's a great opportunity if you're doing any kind of luxury whatsoever. So it's awesome that we have that, because it really is, I think, a game changer. And it's really what's making other agents from other companies take notice of EXP and EXP luxury. And wait a minute, it isn't this recruiting company. And by the way, for y'all that don't know, only 12% of our company even has one person in their organization. So the narrative about us being a recruiting company is false, and it's created by the competition. But every company, I mean, Chick-fil-A recruits. I mean, if we don't have Chick-fil-A recruiting, nobody's going to be getting their chicken sandwiches, right? So the luxury division is just giving us a notch up, and it's a great tool to have in our tool belt.
It is, in my opinion, it's evolved. Tiffany, start going through some questions, because I want, if we have some questions that are in the chat, we're going to get to those in just about a minute. So I'm going to bring back for everybody. I am focusing my energies on first AI, which is our main focus for our EXPCon coming up. Also hanging out and saying hi to friends, giving Elizabeth and Jill a big hug. I can't wait to see you. I look forward to it. And not pick your brain, but perhaps be your servant for the day, just so I could follow you around.
You're so funny.
But I'm going to bring back everything I possibly can about luxury, and I'm coming as kind of fresh eyes because I haven't really focused on it. I'm here to let you all know, though, with the market going up as much as it has, almost every single person here is going to be a luxury agent, whether you want to be or not. And what I know for a fact is that exactly what you said. We're competing with Sotheby's. In fact, we took what was great about Sotheby's, about Engel Volker, about Compass and all that, because we have agents from all of them. And we said,
Right.
okay, how can we make it better than theirs? And then, well, we did. So we're the best of the best. We have the best support for our luxury clients that is humanly possible, and it never stops getting better because we continue to evolve. I want to open it up for questions. So Tiffany, if you want to run and then run into those, that'd be great. Hands up would be great. Fred, first up, before we do that, thanks, Elizabeth, so much. What an honor. I have been dying to talk to you and get you on a call like this to be able to share you with my friends and partners in crime.
I'm always honored. You know that. I always love sharing wherever it's helpful. So thank you.
I got to add this because I wrote this down. I didn't want to forget. So I had an opportunity to actually return the favor with Elizabeth and with her husband. And I got on the phone and he and I spent some time talking. And what I got out of it, I didn't tell you this, but I'll share it with everybody else. This is after he said, all right, I'm going to focus and together you, meaning you and he, will be able to partner on this full business that you all have. Is he felt, because I asked him, I said, you left Dell. I mean, pretty big company in Texas.
Yeah.
He goes, this is just, it's life-changing. My wife and I are partnering again. We're closer again. He mirrored what you said privately to me. And it was almost exactly what you just said. And isn't that a huge gift for the kids and the family?
He's living his best life. I told him the other day, if he doesn't find something to do, he's going to get a Walmart greeter application from me. So, I mean, he's supposed to be getting his license, and not to sell, but anyway, yeah, he's living his best life, but it's fun. I mean, he worked 25 years to get us where we are. And so now he gets to have a little fun.
Great partnership. Godfather, Fred DeFalco, Godfather number 2. Fred DeFalco, let's turn it over to you, sir. What do you got?
Well, thank you.
friend.
And I agree. Hey, good to see you. Hey, Elizabeth, number 1, don't ever forget that proposal I made to you in Orlando. Okay.
I haven't forgotten. I didn't say, I didn't say it. I didn't bring it up, but I didn't forget.
Yeah, good. I just don't want you to ever forget. I'm just here to remind you. Number 2, just listening to you, it reminds me the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. And what you brought to the agents this morning was the fact, plant your darn tree. The other thing is, it's about not the income, it's the impact. And then the other thing is that comparison kills joy. That's what our greatest disease is. I call it soul cancer. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to call this out publicly. Krista Kohler, I think, is on the call. I want you to put the pressure on Krista Kohler. I want to second Elizabeth Riley in EXP, and I think Krista Kohler could be it. Thank you so much.
There's a ton,
a lot of them, yeah,
a lot of them that are here for sure. All right, who do we have?
Got a question in the chat. If Elizabeth, if someone wanted to find out if they have a local chapter of the AHA Club, or if they wanted to start a local chapter of AHA Club, where would they get that information?
Oh, I love that. Okay, we had a lot of people reach out to us. So there is, in Workplace, we created an AHA Club Organizers group, I think is what it's called. So just search AHA Club Organizers, join that group. We have a video pinned at the top. It kind of gives you an overview. We've done a mastermind on it. That's a good reminder. We need to do another one. And then we have a Google sheet in there where we're like, okay, put in there if you already have one in there. I mean, the goal is not to have competing AHA clubs. It's not a recruiting thing at all. Yep, there you go. because here's the thing, what was happening is people were doing recruiting and people were getting turned off. But what we do is we have a speaker. I had Renee Funk, actually, she's a guide with exactly what to say. She flew in from Orlando and did that for our hub a couple weeks ago. And it's all production based. So it gives value to our agents, but then they can bring a guest. We don't talk EXP. They get to see what we're about. And they're all like, we don't collaborate like this. Nobody is sharing this kind of information. And so you don't want competing ones because it's not a recruiting thing. But a lot of times I think it'd be great if people come together and do one. But if you don't have one in your market, start one. It's super easy. We do it once a month, consistently, the same time, 11 to 1. I used to not charge people. I charge them $10 because we'd have food and things like that. And if they didn't show, they have to have some skin in the game. I pay for the room, and the sponsor, if a sponsor wants to get in front, they can't pitch them. They have to bring value, a teaching moment, and they can bring lunch for the agents, and it's 11 to 1, and it's super easy. But all that information's in there. And then if you guys have more questions, tag it in there and we can all answer the questions. But yeah, the AHAs are, I mean, they're popping up everywhere. It's been fun to see.
So
Thank
the very
you.
first pin post is available, file tab, AHA logos, training and topics folder. The second one is, does anybody have a template for the Eventbrite? Yes, we had that one. And the third one is a video of an AHA club going on. So if you want to know how to do it, AHA club, join right now. I just did.
Yeah, that's why I was in Tampa. I was speaking at their AHA club.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you see Elizabeth, or excuse me, Alethea while you were there?
No,
Oh, she may be on this call. You are in Dutch for that one.
I was literally in Tampa
Okay.
for less than 48 hours. It was not my event, y'all. I was just coming in. So don't.
All right,
It's
well-
all good. I heard, and I wanted to go meet the Go-Go's, so I'll be looking out for the next time you do touchdown. I know. I seen the little event, but it was in Tampa and I didn't make it on time either. So congratulations, though. I'm glad you guys got that.
It was
Good
fun.
to
It was
see
fun.
you.
I'll do it
So I
again.
Great
just-
call.
I just threw you under the bus on that, Elizabeth. I'm sorry. I was not
That's
aware
all
she was
right.
on
I'll
the call. I
forgive you.
usually see her face, but you owe me one under the bus throw for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Pierre,
Just
you got your hand
finished
up,
taking
brother.
babes to the school.
I do.
Bob, you
Good,
got your hand up.
Elizabeth. Thank you very much for coming on.
Sure.
Question to you. As a leader in our organization, and I will say a leader in your organization, can you give us some tips around agent retention? And
Yeah.
and you touched on the fact that sometimes the sponsors brought people in, but they're not there as a support organization. How do you do that into specifically when you get down into some lower lines, when we start to get a little more disconnected?
That is a great question. And retention, I'm passionate about retention for sure. So I've kind of started creating, I have an assistant, and I have 2 VAs. And what I realize, and the VAs are really focused on my agent activities. So I'll just give you some ideas of what we're doing. They've taken my 11,000 agents. I have one VA that's focused on this. Her name's Annika. She's taking my 11,000 agents. She's making sure they're all in my database. She's tagging them all appropriately. She's tagging what levels they're in. She's tagging their sponsors. I have all that information. And then what's been really, really cool is we're sending out emails, or we're sending out individual messages for their birthdays, or when they're capping, or when they're iconing and things like that. And I get so much response. They're like, oh my gosh, Elizabeth, thank you so much, because we're trying to stay in touch with them. Now that you can see on your dashboard who your upline is, a lot of people reach out to me. And I just learned from the leaders. Glenn responds to every workplace chat he gets. So if Glenn can respond to every workplace chat, then I can do the same. I'm just emulating a leader that I recognize and I value, right? My organizations on my front couple lines, I'm always doing gratitude lunches once a quarter. Like I said, I'm always doing the AHAs. I have a huddle like this for my group every Friday morning that all of them are invited to be a part of. And we bring in different speakers and different value, or we'll have masterminds with me. They can all get on my calendar if they need to have Calendly links out there. I don't care what line they're. And quite frankly, I mean, it doesn't even have to be in my org, but they take priority, right? Because I have a lot of people that'll reach out to me too, but I'm only one person. So I try to service them all. If I have cappers on my front line, I have gifts that I send them every time they cap. If I have an icon on my front line, I bought a house in Park City, not to rent or anything like that, but just to celebrate my agents. And so it's like, you worked hard to get there, you took away from family and friends and everything else. So go, you and your family pick a week and go use the house in Park City for a week. I have one of my icons there right now with his family. And I just bought a house on the lake here closer, about an hour from Austin, to do the same thing, to give them options. When I go to the events, I make sure, because they'll send the reports to the agents. Susan McLean is really great. If you guys don't know who she is with sending you reports, she'll send you the reports of all your agents that are going to the events or that have registered. So that gives me another reason to reach out to them to get them registered. And if they're there, I always put together a big dinner or happy hour or something like that, so we can all, so that everybody can meet their whole group. Obviously, I don't have 11,000, but it's still a touch. See what I mean? Just like my clients, they might not all respond to me, but it's still a touch. It's still me being engaged. So I'm very accessible, I think. I'm always trying. I don't care if you're my first level or if you're my 7th level. I want to make sure we're all winning together, because again, we all own this company. And even if somebody in George's 7th level, George isn't in my line, but if George loses somebody in his organization, it impacts us as a company. So I'm just trying to share what I do and have them duplicate it and rinse and repeat and just love on people.
I am in your line.
Are you?
Yeah,
Oh, see.
absolutely. I'm under Jeff, under Brent, under.
I thought I was going to say we're all cousins here.
Yeah,
Dude, I
we're-
don't
yeah.
see. I don't even know. I
Yeah,
don't even
right.
know. I'm so bad. I'm sorry.
I was like,
I always
oh my
forget
God.
who's in whose line.
No, it's, well, but the thing is, it's, and that's actually very refreshing, because it doesn't really matter. Friendship is friendship, respect is respect, and it
Right.
doesn't have to do with the lines. But oh yeah, make no misunderstanding. We're all part of your baby pool for sure.
Good. Well, thank you all.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, we're glad to do it. Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm 6th. I'm in your
Okay.
6th line because it's further down. I'm down below Jeff, which is right below Gene or Brent.
There you go. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. All right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities. And the other thing I've done is I've got like onboarding support. I've got all sorts of things, just because we want people to feel connected and not feel like they're a number, like George said. Now
Elizabeth,
George has
thank
to
you
buy a
very-
house. Sorry, George. Bill said you
Elizabeth-
have to buy a house now.
Elizabeth, thank you very much for that insight. I think quite a few of us have already started following what you're saying, and I think that's refreshing and enforcing for all of us. And the new EXP model, as I saw it, if I'm in your 14th line, I get used to the houses when no one else is using them. Is that correct, George?
That is actually a fallacy. It's actually only up to the 13th line, unfortunately. And then there's a hard cutoff at that point. So you just missed it, Rob. Just missed that, Robert. But close. But you can use my house when I buy one.
There you go.
All right. So it's 9:32. I want to, because I committed her to an hour. Actually, Tiffany did.
Okay.
Thank you, Tiffany, for everything. Really, seriously, I haven't thanked you in a while. Thank you for kind of keeping us all together. Does anybody else have anything for Miss Elizabeth? And then we'll give her the last word. And
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Miss Elizabeth, you had stated that your production was up, and I guess you kind of lost traction and focus. And the main point that I caught from it, I may be wrong, was that you were just bored. Just wondering, what exactly was it that you were bored with, and what exactly were you searching for to cure that?
Yeah, I was on a hamster wheel. I was fired after my next transaction. I was everybody was coming to me. I was number one. Everybody was coming to me, and I'm a giver, and I love to like give, but nobody was pouring back into me either. I wasn't growing. I wasn't learning from anybody. I was stuck. And when I went to the president of Keller Williams, who happened to be the owner of my market center, and I said, what can I do to level my business up? Because she came to me, she goes, you know what, one day you're going to be one of my team leaders because you have better retention than most of my team leaders. I was like, nope, not interested in being a team leader. But I said, what can I do to build my business? I mean, I think I might have been, I don't even know what my production was. And she said, well, are you in MAPS coaching? I said, no, I looked into it and I called, and it was $1,000 a month. And they said the first things they were going to have me do was cold call and knock on doors. And I said, I'm not going to do that. That's just not authentic to who I am. And she said to me, well, you don't believe in your business. And I realized, no, we're not aligned anymore. Right. And when you realize you're not aligned anymore and nobody's really, I was just a number. And when I won number one, y'all, literally we're sitting at the table and my team leader said to me, we need to get on your calendar. Let's get on the calendar next week and talk about what your numbers are going to be for next year. And that's when I realized I'm just a number. Whereas at EXP, I'm not. We're like really all pouring into each other and helping each other grow and celebrating each other. And it changes the energy. The energy is so exciting. And the people I'm surrounded with are so passionate, and we're all owners. And it's so much fun when you're building, you hear that saying, you're either going to build your dream or hire somebody else is going to hire you to build theirs. And I realized I was being more loyal to my brokerage than I was to my family, and something had to change. And that's an EXP, even though it was 400 agents, that was the change I needed.
So I've got a couple on this because I think it's so important, and right at the end of it. So not being a number with KW, I was the top agent for them for a while at one point, and had unfettered access everywhere. But unfortunately, I was a number. I had a productivity. I was worth $27,564 at my production level every single year. And that was important. But we also knew what everybody else's production level, and we knew how long we had to get money from them, because the average expenditure of time when they would leave is going to be X amount of time. So they formulated that. Not a slam on them. Every business does, and it's good analytics. So it makes sense. In this company, here's something that you guys should consider. Our healthcare, which we fought and then changed and then changed and then changed, is best. You just validated what I already know. It's best across the board for other healthcare plans. Saved my life twice now. Thank you very much. We've got our CEO up there saying we need to bring Viomi to everybody because this is nutritionally based and it actually makes a huge difference. There are so many, and so I focused on the health because that's been a big priority in my life, but there are so many different things. The people we have, our CEO has a no desk. Our COO has a no desk, that if you get a no, there's a phone number you can call to talk about that no so they can change it to a yes. And he looks at every single one of these. We've got these people in place that finally have said, from a real estate brokerage position, which we are, that our number one responsibility is to our customers, and that's us. We actually matter. In fact, we're the only thing that matters. They're there to serve us. And it's not just lip service, as you'd hear, it's shown. And I see that. And you'll see it and you'll feel it. The more you dig in, the more you're going to realize that you are the driving purpose behind this entire company. And that is a game changer, in my opinion. Anyway, Miss Elizabeth, I'll give you the last words, and then I am going to go pack because I'm going to Cartagena, Colombia tomorrow. Don't know why, but I'm going there actually for a wedding.
Have fun.
Yeah,
Have fun with that.
Yeah, black tie wedding in 97-degree temperature with lots of humidity. Good choice on a location there, folks. Yeah.
Hey, George, can I interrupt that? A couple quick questions.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sure.
Elizabeth Riley, you are amazing, and thank you for your time. It's appreciated. I think some of our group and some of the agents, I know you're still in production, they're struggling with how to communicate this market, right? Because I think they're caught up thinking the same things. If sellers or buyers are saying interest rates are too high, I'm not going to sell because my interest rate is low. I don't know where I'm going to go. I think a lot of the agents are caught up thinking those same things. And if we think the same things, it's going to be hard to get these people into action. Any thoughts around that?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that. The lake house that I just bought, my interest rate was 9.375. And I was in a multiple offer situation. Here's the reason why I bought it, because I was already in a multiple offer situation. If those rates were lower, I would have been in a 10 times multiple offer situation. And I got the property because I've been watching for the property, and that was the property for me, and I'll refinance in a year, right? That's not going to work for everybody though. And so here's what I just communicate with each person. What's important to you? What's really the value? And then you have to be consistent in your business. Okay, if you're consistent in your business and how you treat people, it doesn't matter what the market does. The market is going to change and go. I survived 2008. This is nothing compared to that, right? I don't care what the market's going to do. I know what I'm going to do. People are always going to buy and sell. I've got a lot of people that don't want to sell right now, and that's okay, but I'm going to still serve them. Okay, what do you need? Do you need any, like, I'm the mayor of my community. The other day, they're like, hey, Elizabeth, who do you have that's really good with carpentry? Oh my gosh, this is a great person. I had somebody ask me who my dentist was, right? I'm still going to serve them and be involved in conversations with them so that they, whenever they think about real estate or they hear somebody buying and selling, I mean, I don't know what your market's like. Austin's crazy, but the rates are still the same no matter what. But people are having to buy and sell. A lot of my clients are coming in from out of state because of job searches. So I would just tell them, figure out what kind of agent you are, be in consistent communication. Don't send just listed, just sold cards. Nobody cares, right? Figure out ways to be in relationship and conversation and relatable to them, whether it's a handwritten note. I write handwritten notes. Y'all, I have so many handwritten notes sitting right here. Literally, I go through Facebook every day and I find 5 people to console, congratulate, or compliment. And I write them a handwritten note instead of just a smiley face and just a sad face in Facebook. Hey there, I just saw that your dog died. I just want to let you know I was thinking about you. How are you? Is there anything I could do for you? It's the relationship. You start doing that on a consistent basis. Go write 10 handwritten notes a day. Nobody is writing notes.
Right. What was that
Call
third
somebody.
T? Console, congratulate. What was the third one? I missed it.
Console, congratulate, or compliment.
Compliment.
The
Yeah.
3 C's, right? I mean, I don't like talking to people on the phone. That's just who I am. But here's a script. Hey, George, how are you? That's it. I was just thinking about you. I was in the neighborhood the other day or today or whatever. I was just thinking about you. How are you? How are things going? I would love to grab coffee sometime soon. Anything I can do for you? Not talking about real estate. People want to talk about themselves. But you keep doing that across the board. It doesn't matter what the market's doing. They know that I have knowledge in the market. They know that they can come to me, but they're not going to see me and say, oh my gosh, there's Elizabeth Runn. She's going to talk about real estate.
Understood.
So it doesn't matter what the market's doing. If you're consistent as an agent, and I think right now as a newer agent, or if you're slower, this is where you get your systems in place and your processes in place. I mean, literally, I do stupid stuff like this. Here's my football calendar that we just sent out. I had time to do it because we were slower. Like, find some things that you can do and don't just twiddle your thumbs hoping the phone's going to ring. You got to be proactive, but do it a little bit differently.
What are you doing with that football calendar? What is that? You're sending that out to all your past clients, just like high school football?
Send it to everybody. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And then
I'm going to unblur my screen because
Elizabeth,
don't judge me.
You said something for Kappas. You're sending something. What do you send? What do you send for your Kappas?
If it's a female, I go to Tiffany's and they're $75. And they're these Tiffany's heart. They're bigger hearts. They're Tiffany heart key ring. I will tell you what, they all freak out and they geek out and they put me all over stories when they get a blue box in the mail.
Cool.
Okay. If it's my guys, I have Yeti mugs that were made that are super awesome. They say they have the EXP logo in silver and it says capper. My guys love it. Now my other ones that are starting to cap multiple times, I'm not going to send them the same thing. So I literally just ordered these really cool, and I ordered a bunch of them, so I got a discount. I ordered these really cool charging blocks because I was like, what do I need? Well, shoot, I need that because I'm always running out of batteries and stuff. But it has the EXP logo. I think I might have put family tree on that one. And I'm like, congratulations on keeping your business charged or something stupid like that. And way to go on capping. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything big. Send them a $10 Starbucks gift card going, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you for capping. I just wanted to recognize you. People, or send them a handwritten note. People just want to be recognized.
Got it. Understood. I'm nearly done. EXP family tree, the onboarding section. Some of that is not built out or finalized yet. Just any thoughts on that?
I think with that, I don't know that it's going to be built out. Quite frankly, I think everybody's going through their own onboarding. A lot of the teams have their own onboarding. So the onboarding has gotten better with EXP. So I think they're just following that process. When we were starting to do that, that's when it was still a mess. And there was such a lot of, it was so clunky. But I mean, I know I have my onboarding teams in a way sort of to support, but a lot of them do. But like I said, EXP's figured that out a little bit more.
All right, awesome.
But let me show you this really quick because you asked.
Yes, ma'am.
So people would send, you remember how I said, don't spend money till you're making money and make your marketing dollars count? Okay. So I went to Texas A&M, okay, in College Station. I live in Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is University of Texas. They are our rivals. My husband says we're a light living in a dark place. Okay. So I would get a mailer or a magnet for my refrigerator that would have University of Texas, Baylor, and Houston. What would I do with that? I'd throw it in the trash. Why? Because those aren't my schools. First of all, my school's in the SEC. Those are in the Big 12. They just missed a whole audience. So I was like, what would I do differently? This is on Canva, or get somebody from Fiverr to do this. This is easy. 2023 SEC football schedule. Every single year, I do a Google search for football schedule helmets. It's a free Google search. You just get the new helmet schedule. I import it into my Canva document. On the front, it says, let our team tackle all of your real estate needs. There's out my picture. There's our little thing, SEC schedule. But on the back, because I'm in Big 12 territory, it has the Big 12 football schedule with their helmets. I put a stamp on it, put my logo, and I put the address, and I stick it in the mail. Now, this one, they've been sending it back this year, so I'm going to have to fold them in the future. But just go to the, I mean, this is easy. This is not a just listed, just sold. But here's the cool thing about this. This stays in their kitchen or wherever from August to December because it has everybody's schools and my name's in front of them every single time. Just listed, just sold, one in the trash can.
Awesome.
Just one idea. But I do stuff like this every single month. I do something completely different every single month. I don't know. My office is a mess, so I don't know anymore. But I teach on this, so I'll teach a class on this later.
Thank you, Liz. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Awesome. Well,
You guys are amazing. I'm blessed that you had me here, George. Anytime. I appreciate you guys, and I hope this was helpful.
I will see you in less than 2 weeks, I think, and I can't wait to see you and just hang out and spend some time together. Thank you so much from all of us. And I know I speak for everybody on the call, and some of the snippets we'll be taking out that Tiffany's already working on to share this with the rest of the crew. Thank you for being part of our lives and for sharing your time. Love you. You're awesome. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, my friend. And if you guys are going to EXPCon, please, 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 please come to X Camp on Monday,
absolutely.
1 to 4:30. I run that with Keith Dublé now. 1 to 4:30. It's super awesome. So come to X Camp and I will see you guys there.
All right, so you can hop off. I'm going to give one more shout. X Camp is like literally you get to choose what the topics are. It is the most high energy, most awesome thing that started like 5 years ago and is crazy. You had to reel it in last year, 2 years ago. You got it back to where it needs to be. I will be there. I'm actually flying in early so I can be there on Monday.
Oh, good. Okay. Good.
So
I might be pulling some of y'all up on stage, so get ready.
Love to talk about it. You guys pick the topic and they talk. We get an expert to talk about it. That's what X Camp is, and it's crazy cool. If nothing else, that's worth the trip right there. Thanks again, Liz. Have an amazing day. And for everybody on the call, thank you guys for being here again. I appreciate you all sticking around, and the questions were great. The energy was awesome. Really glad you guys could join us. I'm going to turn it to Tiffany for the after party. And I'm going to get on the phone and start making some phone calls because I got people I need to talk to.
George, thank you for setting it up, George.
Oh, absolutely, our pleasure. This is we get our high levels for our leaders, and this is it was a gift to be able to call Elizabeth in here. By the way, when I'm out in Las Vegas, I will be searching for next speakers that are of Elizabeth's caliber, some real industry leaders that we can share with you guys. That's kind of our mission is, every couple of weeks on these Thursdays, we're going to try and bring somebody who really talks a high level game for our icons and our massively successful agents. So we spend a lot of time and energy on helping you grow your business, and there's great stuff to do, but we need to focus on our real leaders who have paved the way for all of us to follow. And that's kind of our mission. So thanks you again. God bless you guys. Remember, go out, tell somebody you love them, tell them that they're important and that they matter to you. That will change their day and it will change yours. It will only get better. And the truth is you can actually save a life by doing so. And as a little secret, that is the secret to database. Now I got to do this because I haven't done it in a while. Tom Martin, damn glad to see you, boy. I've been AWOL for about a month. What's going on, my brother? How are you?
I sent you my calendar, try to figure a time in.
All right. God bless you guys. Have a great day. We'll talk real soon. Bye now.